Hey, the world is on fire. Everything sucks right now. So we're escaping and we're going retro. Okay. First episode today, we are going to dive into one of the coolest books that I've ever come across. I mean, okay, you've heard of choose your own adventure books, right? Well, imagine one of those, but it is an insidious puzzle maze thing where you are solving clues not only in the text but also in pictures and drawings of each room in this maze. Maze, Solve the World's Most Challenging Puzzle by Christopher Manson, was published in October of 1985. It is absolutely brilliant. It is brilliant. I have not solved this. I started taking a look at it and then I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to record going through this and share it with the world. So you are actually watching me try to solve this puzzle, try to solve this book in real time, and I'm going to break it up into one run per episode for as many episodes as it takes to get there. When this book first dropped in 1985, there was a $10,000 contest. There are 45 rooms in the maze. Each room is numbered. The goal is to get from room 1 to room 45 in as few steps as possible. The most correct solution, you can get to room 45 and back to 1 in 16 steps. The riddle found in room 45, and then to answer the riddle along the path from 1 to 45 back to 1, there are clues along the way that are needed to solve the whole, to solve the riddle. This contest was never solved completely. Credit where credit's due. Okay, directions. This is not really a book. This is a building in the shape of a book, a maze. Each numbered page depicts a room in the maze. The doors in each room lead to other rooms. For example, the room on page 1 has doors leading to rooms 20, 26, 41, and 21. To go through door number 20, simply turn to page 20. Your challenge is to find your way from room 1 after the prologue to room 45 and then back to room 1 using the shortest possible path. If you use your head, you should be able to make the journey in only 16 steps. There are any number of clues in the drawings and in the story to help you choose the right door in each room. Clues in a series of rooms may relate to one another and may indicate a path. Other clues may refer to a specific door in a specific room. Anything in this book might be a clue. Not all clues are necessarily trustworthy. Once you've found the shortest path in and out of the maze, challenge yourself further. Go back and find the riddle hidden in room 45. The answer to that riddle is concealed somewhere on the shortest path. Now proceed to the prologue. Your guide awaits you. Okay, so from the get-go, the thing that has me a little concerned is not all clues are necessarily trustworthy. So there are going to be some red herrings, I guess, as if this wouldn't be difficult enough. Okay, so at this point, only interested in getting to room 45. So challenge number 1 for me on this journey, getting to room 45. Once we can get to room 45, then we can figure out how to get to room 1. And once we've done that, we can figure out the shortest path. Prologue. The maze. I met them at the gate, though I usually wait inside. Preoccupied with their own thoughts, impatient like so many children, they didn't see who I really was. They never noticed my crown, my pain, the fire in my eyes. Like all the others, They think the maze was made for them. Actually, it is the other way around. They think I'm some poet who will lead them through the symbols and spaces of this underworld. They think I will teach them lessons. They should call me Cerberus. I am the lesson. The monstrous walls rise up and run away as far as the human eye can see, circling and dividing. Which half is the maze? Even I get lost. It changes, sometimes slowly, imperceptibly, sometimes suddenly. This house is not only made of stone and mortar, wood and paint. It is made of time and mystery, hope and fear. Construction never stops. I take some pride in my role as architect. They think I will guide them to the center. Perhaps I will. The sun was very hot. Together, we walked through the gate into the entrance hall of the maze. They looked carefully at the bronze doors, trying to choose. The uncertainty of visitors is one of my little pleasures. It's easy to get lost, I said helpfully. This can be a sinister place. It can also be an incredibly noisy place. It's easy to get lost, I said helpfully. This can be a sinister place. The sun glared at me through the gateway. Something was ringing behind one of the doors. They spent some time trying to decide which door it was, not understanding that the silences of the maze are as eloquent as the sounds. Decisions, decisions, one said. Too many decisions. Story of my life, said another. We don't want to be late, said a third, opening one of the doors. Nary a soul to be seen, said the first, peering into the gloom. I waited patiently for them to choose which way to go. All right, so let's look at the picture here. So we've got 4 doors. Story, 20, drum, on one. Fable, 26, cup, it looks like, on another. Tale, 41, and what looks to be some sort of like a jug. Yeah, I think jug more than vase. Yarn, 21, and to me that looks like an apple. We've got scraps of paper on the floor. We also have like a easel with a piece of paper on it. We also have a bit tacked up to the wall. There's also a scrap of paper sticking out from the beneath door 21. So the symbols that are drawn on the paper here, like some of them resemble letters. Okay, well, let's look at the text again. The fact that the doors are bronze, that doesn't really mean anything to me at the moment. Okay, so you have a sinister place. I mean, sinister also kind of, it means like left. I don't know what the Latin is, but in Italian, it's sinistra. That could be saying, okay, the door that you want is on the left side. And it's maybe like one of the left doors instead of one of the doors on the right. Let's see, you got the sun glaring through the gateway. So that's actually the second reference to the sun, if you count the prologue. So it makes it feel kind of important. So the sun is not really, like, it's almost shining like directly between these 2 doors. And it's really not illuminating anything, pretty much nothing here in the sunlight. Something ringing behind one of the doors. There's no like obvious like bell or anything like that in the symbology here. So you know, well, I guess you have the drum that would make noise. You can probably toot on a jug. Huh. The guide is also saying that the silences of the maze are as eloquent as the sounds. So that's almost making me think we don't want to go behind the one where there's noise being made. Yeah, so maybe not the drum. If you want to go jug band, not the jug. The story of my life. Okay, we have story appearing up here. So that's kind of drawing attention to story. That kind of puts it then at odds with making noise, but silence being eloquent. So maybe that's a way of saying not story, or not the door. Okay, the story's on the left side. There's actually a lot of things that are kind of pointing to like story and fable here. So, okay, story and fable, story is being called out, but then also there's something for it and then also something against it. Is there anything for choosing fable? Well, okay, this might be reaching. I don't know the author's brain well enough to know whether this is actually like significant. Like, I mean, it says anything is a clue. Like, is he this insidious? The sunlight was a clue, so they think of it kind of inverted. Okay, so there's nothing clearly in the sunlight itself. So what about in the shadows? We can see that we've got the drum symbol is kind of crossed out by a shadow, and the jug and the apple are both appear in the shadows. But the sunlight does sort of cast across the symbol on the fable door. I guess that might be a point in favor of fable. So we have sinister, if we think of left-handed, sunlight kind of illuminating it. As far as tail and yarn go, so the tail door, okay, if it makes noise, but the silence is eloquent. There's the paper coming out of door 21 too, but that leads to kind of almost nothing. Again, there's no, I'm not seeing any like obvious clues in amongst here. Okay, well, this being sort of the first real playthrough, let's just default to vibes here, because I feel like I don't know enough yet to be able to tell like what's a red herring clue from like what's a real clue. So let's go fable. I'm thinking fable door. I don't know why it's sort of it's calling me. All right, so I waited patiently for them to choose which way to go. Into a dramatic room with 4 entrances and exits. Not enough light in here, they remarked. Not very tidy either. Which way now, children? I asked in my most patronizing voice. They objected to my tone, but it distracted them from the real clues. The game usually goes as I plan it, despite the intentions of my visitors. Or perhaps because of their intentions. What the devil is this supposed to be? One asked. They gathered around, and I realized they were close to something. I quickly picked up the bell, ringing it loudly. Was this what you heard outside? Okay, so let's see, exploring this room, we have stage play. We've got 2 people in the audience, both shushing. We've got, looks like, a cadre of devils. We've got 4 doors. One door goes back to room 1. One heads to 38, one to 36, and one to 30. We have a devil hanging from the ceiling with wings, clearly like a prop devil as opposed to like a costume devil, holding a salt shaker, shaking it towards the letter A. The first place that my wordplay brain goes to would be like assault. But I have no idea what that has to do with anything here yet. Let's see, we've got a bell laying on the ground, and then we've got, looks like 3 costumed devils, or, maybe they're real devils, in various stages of emerging or descending into trap doors. Let's see, we've got a large moon behind, so some sort of nighttime scene, and a planet hanging from it. No, again, I think this first go through, I think I just need to get more of a sense of like what the way the author thinks to be able to try and solve some of these clues. We're gonna go largely off of vibes here. I kind of am getting the vibe that like, okay, there's a lot of stuff blocking off door 38. You've got the text here, what the devil is this supposed to be like, drawing our attention to the devil. He's got like a pitchfork and everything, trident, and it seems like he's trying to sort of keep us from going through door 38. I don't know. With everything that's happened so far, the department kind of thinks that like they might be trying to keep us from taking the correct path, trying to dissuade us from going there and trick us into going down an easier path that'll lead us somewhere awful. So let's pick up the pace a little. Let's go. We're just gonna go 38, final answer. And let's just see where it takes us. Let's get a little bit more about this dungeon. Let's learn a little bit more about these clues. So Holding their ears, they ran out the door to a narrow space where one wall boasted half-finished carvings and another some sort of carnival poster. There was a little confusion as we made our entrance, but we soon sorted ourselves out. It was impossible to climb up the slippery slide, and another door wouldn't open for us. So, after emptying the pebbles from our shoes, we marched on to... All right, so slide, obviously, according to this, you can't go that way, and there's a broken key over the top of it, so that's really kind of giving you the, well, that's not the right way vibes. We have a poster that says C in big bold letters, yet it's pointing at the monkey's nose. Looks more like a chimpanzee, so the ape's nose, the primate's nose. So kind of contradictory poster. Or if that's saying we shouldn't trust our eyes here, kind of ominous seeing a dilapidated single boot laying on the ground. I'm not feeling super great about this room right now, if I'm perfectly honest. So our choices, we've got 22, we've got 43, and we've got 40. I mean, 40 seems like the obvious, this is the way to go. But that's almost like the exact opposite, in a way, of, okay, the criteria we just used to solve the last one. So it's like either they're trying to obstruct the way to go, or maybe they're trying to lead us clearly to a way. It's all the features are kind of worn off on these statues. There's you've got incredible detail on this poster, and so this lack of detail here seems very deliberate. Honestly, I have no reason to pick either 22 or 43 at this point. The boot is kind of pointing between the slide and this door 40. Looks like there's no path back the way we came, so that was a one-way. Yeah, let's onward. Let's go 40. After emptying the pebbles from our shoes, we marched on to the foundation of the maze. Deep underground stones had been carved and fitted. Passages opened in the natural rock. These symbols are quite unusual, said one. They seem to be primitive signs. Do you know what signs? I asked him. Oh, wind and water, hills and planets. It was surprising that he could identify any of the symbols, but I was relieved that he couldn't read them correctly. Choosing more or less at random, they went through a passageway too. Okay, so we're in the foundation of the maze. We've gone down underground, 38, so that'll take us back to where we came. So at least, if we hit a dead end, we can work our way back. Looks like there are steps that go down, but there's no room number, so maybe there's a way of getting down there and you can kind of come back up into this room from somewhere. The room numbers are 6 and 11. These symbols do not mean anything to me. If you see something here, please feel free to let me know in the comments. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything that's obvious, especially because okay, so you have kind of a classic symbol for like water. This could be sort of like maybe a planetary, astrological looking sort of symbol, hills or mountains or whatnot. But he specifically says wind, water, hills, and planets are not being read correctly. So I have no idea what sort of the correct reading of any of this would be. If it's a clue, I am clueless about it. If it's a red herring, it's red and fishy. So I'm not seeing any obvious, like, okay, this is the room you should go to. So I guess going off of vibes alone. All right, we're trying to get to higher numbered rooms. We just came from 38, so let's take 11. And if we hit a dead end, we can come back and try 6. Or next, if we come back to this room, we'll try 6 next time. Choosing more or less at random, they went through a passageway to an airy room with many doors. It was a big space, but I still felt crowded. I've always hated confinement. Whatever you do, I warned them, don't touch that. This must be an important room, said one of them. There's more doors than any of the others. This was not true, but I didn't want to interrupt. With so many paths crossing here, we must be close to the center, she continued. I had noticed this guest before. I would have to be careful. This is an important choice, I said, trying to encourage them. Gratefully leaving the room behind, we walked all the way to... there's a bunch of doors, but we really don't have any choices here. Because 40 is where we came from, if I remember right. And so 24 is our only real option to go forward out of here. For assistance, please ring bell. There are wires that go down. Maybe they'll be significant later. I haven't seen, in our short journey so far, haven't seen any wires like coming out of the ceiling or anything like that. So I'm not sure where that leads. Well, specifically told not to touch it, though. I mean, this being a book, I'm not really sure how you'd be able to tell if we touched it or not. Yeah, I guess onward to victory. So yeah, rather than going back to 40, though we do have a pathway back to room 40, so we could, go check out room 6 or go back all the way to 38 and check out the other 2 rooms that go off of there at some point. Let's go check out room 24. So gratefully leaving the room behind, we walked all the way to, well, that's ominous, a place of unlimited darkness. Jesus. Okay. Where are the doors? They asked nervously. We can't see any doors. Yeah, there are no door numbers out of here. Be careful where you step, said a cold voice. This spot is taken. Dozens of eyes blinked at us in the Stygian gloom. By the time my uncertain visitors turned to ask me what to do, I was already far away. There are no doors, said the voice. You're here with the rest of us now. Even my bellowing laughter couldn't fill this space. Okay, so the guide has just completely f***ed off. There are no doors. This looks like a... Oh, and my backdrop can't even stay up with this. This looks like a lost condition to me. So, I think that's where we're going to end this run. Mend my backdrop. But yeah, we have nowhere else to go. So I guess we have to start over. All right. Well, first run didn't go so well. But I think we learned a lot. Okay, so we got a little bit of a vibe off of the kinds of clues to expect going forward. So be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you're seeing this, so you don't miss run number 2 when we reset back to the beginning and we try it again. See if we can get further. Well, until then, have a good one. This has been Retro with Raven, and yeah, thanks for joining me in a little bit of a respite from everything happening out there. Until next time, ciao.